Hey guys, welcome back to Pristine's Reads. So today I'm going to be reviewing The Dreamer, the Schemer, and the Robe, book number 2 in, technically actually this is The Amazing Tales of Max and Liz, but it just continues straight on into the Epic Order of the Seven series, so I just think of it as the Epic Order of the Seven. So, book 2 in the series. Last week I reviewed the first book. You can go check that out if you want. And I've also started a new method of reviewing. I used to do a no spoiler video and then a completely separate super spoiler video, but then this time I'm just gonna have like a spoiler section, and then you guys can like skip back to the no spoiler part in the link. I'm leaving the timestamp below, but yeah, we'll roll with it. Okay, so first up is the summary. The Dreamer, the Schemer, and the Robe is kind of like a retelling of the story of Joseph in the Bible. So basically it has the analysts in the last book, you know, Max, Liz, Kate, and Al, and this time their second mission is Joseph. Well, the story of Joseph, and they have to help birth the nation of Israel. So exciting. So yeah. They all have different assignments, and the person who gave them the assignments is Max's old mountain goat friend, Gilamon. Spoiler alert, anyways, Gilamon died in the last book, but God brought him back to life, kind of, so he can, like, change any forms, and now he's, like, the team's mission deliverer. So, yeah, anyway, so he gives them their missions. Max, Liz, and Al are to go to Egypt, and Kate is to go with the family of Jacob. So they're all split up. Max goes to the jail and to stay with Joseph while he, when he eventually, you know, goes into prison. And Liz goes to Potiphar's house when Joseph was, you know, with Potiphar. And Al gets the posh palace assignment in Pharaoh's court. But basically, their job, for Kate anyways, it was to comfort Jacob while he mourned the loss of Joseph, and for Max it was to help support Joseph and give him hope while he was in prison. For Liz, it was to make sure that Joseph was successful in the house of Potiphar. And for Al, he played many different roles. I will talk about that in the spoiler section. But yeah, anyways, so that's kind of like the basic summary. But, you know, of course, they're, like, the, Jenny L. Coates, like, fantastical twists that are, like, her artistic license. So, yeah, it's really interesting. I can't talk about it without giving spoilers. So, the spoiler people who are watching this get that. But anyways, so, non-spoiler people, I will leave you with my signature question. When Charlatan and his minions return, will the animals' efforts to keep Joseph alive be enough to help birth the future nation of Israel? You'll have to find out. So yeah, non-spoiler people, now go to the timestamp in the description, click on that, and it'll take you back to the non-spoiler part. Anyways, spoiler people, you're still here, thank you. So yeah, anyways, on to the spoiler part. So, yeah, anyways, I was talking about Al's role too. So, you know, in the whole story of the Bible, the baker and the cupbearer, remember how they displeased Pharaoh? So the way Coat made them displease Pharaoh was that they accidentally let jackal hair get in Pharaoh's food and drink. So, of course, Pharaoh was not very happy. One, because obviously it's like animal hair in his food, who wants that? And two, because he had all those bad dreams of the famines the night before. So it turned out that Al was kind of in a way responsible for that, because he had been letting these two jackals in the kitchen while the cooks had been preparing food, and these two jackals were named Dumatef and Wepawet, or Tef and Wep for short. They're named after two Egyptian gods. Anyway, so the jackals jump up and purposely get hair in the food. So yeah, the baker and the cupbearer are sent to prison. Of course, that's where Joseph and Max are. Joseph does the whole dream interpreting thing. The cupbearer gets restored, and the baker gets... yeah. Anyways, Okay, I'm kind of assuming that you guys have like read the story of Joseph, because I mean, that's a Bible story. You've probably heard it before. If you haven't, go to like any online Bible page and look up the story of Joseph. You can read it there. So technically, it's not really like spoilery when I was talking about all that stuff, I guess, because you can just find it anywhere. Anyways, yeah. So back to the story. And the jackals lure Al back to the pyramid by saying that they heard Liz trapped behind a wall shouting for help, and Al believes them. So Max is also with Al, so both of them rush to the pyramid, and they hear Liz's voice in the pyramid, so they instantly try to find the way to her with the jackals helping them. And to get to the chamber where Liz is, they go through a room that's filled with food. For example, like dates. And so Max and Al grab some dates to eat as a snack, and they go into the room where Liz is supposed to be. But turns out the dates are drugged, and Max and Al they become woozy and kind of delirious, and they can't see or think properly. Then the jackals reveal themselves. No, turns out Wep, Tef, and this other jackal are actually minions of Charlatan. They can shapeshift. And before Max and Al's eyes, they appear to turn into the Egyptian gods they're named after. So, Wep turns into Wepawet, or Lord of Abydos and Opener of the Ways in Egyptian. Tef turns into Dumatef, son of Horus and protector of the mummy's stomachs. So stupid. And then the other one turns into Anubis, the god who supposedly guides the human souls through the afterlife, all that stuff. Anyway, so yeah, they appear to turn into that, and Max and Al then become unconscious, and the jackals mummify them. Well, not really mummify them, they just wrap them up in bandages so they look like mummies, because Max and Al are immortal, you can't kill them, but the jackals want to stop them from helping Joseph with his, the silver cup and the sacks of grain test he did to his brothers. But then, when it seems like all is lost and Max and Al are unconscious and mummified, and Joseph's redemption with his brothers is perhaps not to be, they have an unexpected little friend that sees this whole encounter. So turns out that the animals have met a little mouse called Nigel, and Nigel is a British mouse, but he also has a love of Egyptology and studying Egyptian hieroglyphics and stuff like that. So he's just met the animals, and but he sees Max and Al being mummified, and he quickly rushes to go tell Liz. They rush back to the pyramid with Kate to see this for themselves, and as they try to outwit the jackals, Liz does outsmart them. She gets them to turn themselves into all different kinds of Egyptian gods by, challenging their pride and their authenticity. Oh, can you really change into that god? So they eventually change into a god named Heget, which is the goddess of childbirth, but also happens to look like a frog. And all Liz does, she looks over to the dates, the drugged dates, which have some flies flying around them. The frogs follow her gaze, their tongue slaps onto the drugged dates and the flies, and they become unconscious themselves, and Liz, Nigel, and Kate set free Max and Al, and Nigel finds the antidote to the drug and wakes Max and Al up. So they quickly rush back to replace the cup in Benjamin's grain sack, so that Joseph will be able to bring his brothers back, So yeah, they have saved the future nation of Israel, and their mission is done. So Gilmon reappears and tells them that since Nigel did such a great job in helping them during their mission, that he will become one of their team and become immortal as well. So Nigel is now part of the Merry Little Band. And I loved the hint, by the way, of the next book. So the next book is called The Prophet, the Shepherd, and the Star. It's basically kind of an extended nativity, and they gave us a hint in the end. It took me a while to figure it out because like Code had written it in like hieroglyphic, simplified hieroglyphs, and it turns out that it spells Messiah. So yeah, that was a fun little prelude to the next book, and yeah, I couldn't wait to read that one, and yeah, that one was amazing as well, but I'll save that for next week. Okay, so that wraps it up for the summary. Welcome back, non-spoiler people. Glad you're back. And we will go on to the morals. So first up is worldviews. So Jenny L. Coate is a strong Bible-believing Christian author, and all of the events, well, at least the real events, were pretty well lined up with the Bible's account. Of course, you know, she took artistic license with the whole animals in the story as well. So that's just like her imagination. But the rest of it is history. And yeah, I just love how she makes it that like it wasn't even a fictional story. Like some people say the Bible is, oh, just a storybook full of fairy tales, but no, it was like actual real history. And yeah, so it's just pretty cool the way she and like the Egyptology too was like so well researched, like even with all these Egyptian gods and stuff, which of course, you know, is the pagan nonsense. But I mean, I thought it was important to like get a glimpse of like the culture that Joseph really had to live in for most of his life. But you know, even while he was surrounded by all this paganism, he didn't give in to that, but he kept himself pure and kept worshiping the only God. And yeah, so that was really cool. And then I mean, like, even though the Egyptian gods are like well researched, I found that pretty fascinating as well, because you know, Egyptian stuff is history too. So hey, you get biblical history and you get Egyptian history. So yeah, win-win. Although I might advise some caution for younger children, like parents, because it did have some stuff to do with, you know, Anubis, the Lord of the Dead, and stuff like that. So if your children are like sensitive to that kind of stuff, I mean, like ultimately it's mythology. So yeah, but that's like up to your discretion. I mean, I was perfectly fine reading it. My younger brothers too. But yeah, so other than the Egyptian worldview, I found no other worldviews here. Well, I mean, you know, there was Charlatan and his minions, but they were the ones who basically like, for this one, they were taking the Egyptian mythology and like pretending to be the gods. No, the air quotes. Anyways, yeah, so that's it for worldviews. Let's go over to violence. So there's like little to zero here. There were some like fights and like prison brawls, but that was really minor. A person threw something and hit another person on the head. And the person did go blind as a result of said projectile. But yeah, that's a different story. And then next up is foul language. 0. Zilch. Need I say more? Okay, moving on. Let's go to romance. So if you have read this story, you probably know about the whole Potiphar's wife thing. In this story, her name was Zuleika. And yeah, but it was very like PG and stuff. The author didn't like give too much, like, I don't know, what do you want to call it, detail or suggestiveness, I don't know. So yeah, it was all really PG, but she, like, you know, made sure that the readers knew that it was wrong, of course, and Joseph knew it was wrong, and he, like, you know, still ran away, leaving his coat. You know how the story goes. Anyways, oh yeah, she also went to a Egyptian priest at a dream temple to see if she could have, because, you know, the Egyptians believe strongly in dreams, that what they saw in their dreams was what was going to happen. So she went to go try and have a dream about Joseph falling in love with her, I don't know, something like that. But yeah, so that's basically what she tried to do. Anyways, yeah, other than that, there was like nothing else. Yeah, okay, moving on. Alcohol. So of course, well, Joseph in the story, how he helped Potiphar was he helped him, like, you know, build a vineyard, and then of course the vineyards produced grapes, and they used the grapes to make wine, but they weren't seen to, like, people were drunk or anything. So just a minor mention. And then of course, as for drugs, they were the drugged dates, but they weren't like, they're more like sedative drugs, kind of. So yeah, anyways, also a super minor mention. Let's go to my rating, recommended age level. So I'm gonna rate this one 4 stars. I will say again that it's not like my favorite of the entire series, but you know, that's coming from me who's already read all 8 books that are out, and I know what's in each one. So yeah, but this was a great second book, and yeah, I'm gonna put my age level at 10 to 11 plus, because while I think the reading level, like the comprehension level, is certainly suitable for 9, I'm gonna put it at 10 because of all the Egyptian stuff and all the Zolika drama. So yeah, that's my age level, but overall it was a very enjoyable read. Again, full of, it's just really cool to see how Coate makes it like history, you know? Yeah, I will see you guys next week for my review of The Prophet, the Shepherd, and the Star. I can't wait, and I'm already thinking about Christmas. You guys are gonna laugh at me. It's like September and I'm already thinking about Christmas, but that's just because I'm getting ready for my dance Christmas tour. So yeah, I'm already thinking about Christmas, listening to Christmas music. You guys are so gonna laugh at me, so I can't wait to review the Christmassy book next week. Yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already. Yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Bye!